Testimony has resumed after the daily lunch break, and right now with the state's final witness on the stand, Judson Welser. He's an accident reconstructionist and biomechanical engineer who inspected the SUV that Reed is accused of hitting O'Keefe with. During questioning, Welchner acknowledged recent changes to the summary of his findings, including the deletion of a slide and minor edits following suggestions from the prosecution. Welcher also addressed new data from a colleague's report, but maintained his original timeline is still valid despite the updates. Reed is facing charges, including second-degree murder. He's pleaded not guilty. Let's bring in our investigative reporter, Olivia Rubin, along with former federal prosecutor Neama Rahmani. Olivia, tell us about testimony so far. What's standing out to you?
Yeah, well, this expert is getting into sort of the crux of his testimony, Kara, and talking about this data from Karen Reed's SUV. And remember, prosecutors say that Karen Reed backed her SUV into her boyfriend outside of this home, killing him. And now we have this expert on the stand showing jurors the data from Karen Reed's car, which he says shows that she did around 12:30 a.m. that night pull her car forward and then accelerate in reverse further than what she had pulled forward. So she pulled forward a little bit and reversed even further, he said, with a significant amount of acceleration. So that is key testimony, Kira, that could feed right into the prosecutor's theory of the case. And he is moving in to some testimony about her taillight. Remember, the prosecution says that the broken taillight on Karen Reed's car happened potentially when she hit John O'Keefe with her car, but the defense has pushed back. They said it could have been broken earlier. They say perhaps that this is something that could have been planted by prosecutors, is something that they've sort of hinted at. So he's sort of getting in, showing this video to see if it's possible that she could have hit her car elsewhere to cause that taillight to break. But again, some significant testimony here.
So, Neama, what role do you see this reconstructionist testimony playing out?
Kira, this is a key witness. If you're the prosecution in any case, you want to start strong and end strong. In law school, they call it primacy and recency. So now you have the accident reconstruction expert here, Dr. Belcher from Aperture, the same company that brought the previous witness who lied about his resume, Burgess. So now you have the expert testifying, like Olivia said, about that acceleration in reverse. Again, that's not something people typically do. And he talked about a pretty significant distance, approximately 50 feet of acceleration in reverse. Of course, this is important testimony for the government's case because the defense is arguing that John O'Keefe was beat up in Alpert's home and thrown out in the snow to die. And the government's position is whether it was intentional, which would be second-degree murder, or unintentional, which would be involuntary manslaughter, John O'Keefe died because of Karen Reed's vehicle. And you have Dr. Belcher testifying about that vehicle and the fact that he even purchased an identical version of that vehicle so he can do the testing himself. So this is very key testimony, and I do expect the government to wrap up their case in chief after he testifies.
All right, Olivia, Neama, thank you both so much. We're going to go back into that courtroom now where proceedings continue in the murder retrial of Karen Reed.